So 86,174 people thronged the MCG for the final of the Women's T20 World Cup last time. This time, now in a few days' time, we have the Women's ODI World Cup being played in New Zealand. Let's talk to Akhil about that event and India's prospects in the competition.
86,000.
Timeout with SportsAdda is not only for men's cricket, we've started women's cricket too.
Absolutely, and really happy that we are talking about women's cricket. This ODI World Cup is so important, and it's one of the trivia, right, Arun? Like a lot of cricket fans, regular cricket quizzers will know that the women's ODI World Cup started before the men's World Cup, isn't it?
Not just the World Cup, Akhil. Women have done and achieved a lot of firsts before the men have achieved it. I can even recall scoring a double 100. Now, the women cricket, I think Belinda Clark it was, who scored the double 100.
Right at MIG, very close to my house.
There you go. Before Sachin or Virendra Sehwag or Rohit Sharma, whoever scored it, yeah, women have achieved a lot of firsts in cricket.
Interesting, and that 86,000 number was also it's a very significant number, Arun, because usually to fill up Melbourne Cricket Stadium is a task with the kind of availability of seats there. And I remember the initiatives that the ICC had also taken last time. They had invited a lot of guests from India, a lot of influential women working in the business of sport, some popular names there to come and watch the game there to try and popularize it during the World Cup. So I'm hoping to see some kind of those initiatives also. Really excited. Indian team is also preparing there. They've just had a tough 5-match series, if I may call it, but at least they're getting acclimatized, getting used to the conditions, bonding as a team. So in that way, good preparation going for India.
Absolutely. They've been here for a while, Akhil. They did the MIQ rather. They had to stay in isolation, quarantine, and then they got down to business. They've been playing around the country in Queenstown, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, we're not too far from the actual tournament. And it's an 8-team tournament, Akhil. A few teams are missing. Prominent among them, Sri Lanka missing this time. Then Thailand, who kind of made headlines in the T20 competition, for not only for their cricket, but also because of the passion they brought to the field. They're missing out because the qualifiers got cancelled because of COVID. Zimbabwe missing. So yeah, a couple of teams missing, but eight of the top teams here in New Zealand.
Fantastic. So we'll quickly, Arun, run through some all the teams who are participating. Would love to know some of the key players that we can look out for. You've been following a lot of women's cricket for a while, and you're working on the competition also. So you're already deeply following the stats and numbers there. So we'd love to get a perspective on which are the key players. What can we look out for in each of the teams?
Absolutely, Akhil. Before we go, just a quick recap of history. 11 World Cups so far, if I recall correctly. Australia have won 6. England have won 4. New Zealand, the only World Cup they won was at home back in 2000-2001.
Fantastic. So Australia dominating there like they have in the men's ODI format also. They always have a strong team. If we can just have a look at the teams one by one, I'd love to see which are the key players, especially from Arun's statistical point of view. Can we have the teams one by one? Can we have Australia?
I have to admit, Akhil, if ever I fell in love with women's cricket, it's because of this Australian team, Akhil. This Australian team and what the women cricketers do in the Big Bash, the women's Big Bash, I've fallen in love. I've just taken to the sport so quickly. The standard of cricket they play is so high, Akhil. Some of the names, some of these are world champions. I don't say world champions just because they've won World Cups, but outstanding cricketers. Elise Perry, two of my favorites there, Akhil. Alisa Healy and Elise Perry are two of my favorites. And though they've had not so great run of form in the lead up to the World Cup, expect them to do big things. Expect them to step up in this competition. I recall, during the T20 World Cup as well, Akhil, Alisa Healy had a horror run in the tournament, and she came good in the final, just in the final.
Yeah. No, both of them are going to be legends in the Australian circuit. Not just women's cricket. Overall cricket, I think Elise Perry is the grandest cricketer that is there in world cricket right now. I mean, with due respect to whatever runs Steve Smith or Virat Kohli and anyone like Joe Root are getting, but the kind of numbers that Perry has put together in international cricket, the kind of cricket she plays, just lovely to watch and follow. So really looking forward to, could this be her last World Cup, Arun? She's been playing for a while, so many injuries she's picked up.
You never know. You never know. Okay, with champions, you never say last time. But Australia red hot favorites. Okay, absolute red hot favorites. They won. I think. I don't know. They just lost one game in the last 20, 30 ODIs. Okay, that ended. It was against India, which ended their winning streak, long winning streak. So they've just lost one ODI in the last 20, 30 games. And they won their, the warm-up games convincingly as well. Even as we're speaking, they're playing a warm-up game where Ash Gardner, who bats in the middle order, smashed a 29 ball 50, I think. So Australia are in red hot form already. They just won the Ashes. They've started their campaign well. Look out for them. Definite semi-finalists and prime favorites to win again.
Superb. That's a real statement. Okay, which team are next up? Should we look at England?
Let's pick up the four teams I'm choosing will be semi-finalists.
Sure.
So second would be England. Not had a great run of form recently. They lost the women's Ashes obviously, but again, so much of experience, so much of class in this team again. Heather Knight, Tammy Moore, Catherine Brunt, Kate Cross, Sophie Ecclestone, Tash Farrant, Nat Siver, Anya Shrubsole. These are players who played international cricket, who've been around for a long, long time. So they know the pressures, and they'll be gunning to do well. They've not had, like I said, they lost the Ashes, and just that they play competitions, Akhil. They play competitive cricket more often than most other nations. Hence, I think England are second favorites for me.
Okay, that's a nice pick. Next up, Arun, New Zealand. Would it be New Zealand for you?
Host New Zealand, yeah, host New Zealand. They've just beaten India 4-1, Akhil. 4-1 in the one-day series.
And some important chases, though. The chases that they got were, I didn't expect them to chase so easily, Arun, in a couple of matches, but they were on cue. It looked like they were on cue. They had their strategy. Even the lower order batswomen were contributing, so looked like a solid unit.
Yeah, and there's one new favorite of mine in that team, Akhil. One absolute superstar. Look out for it's called Melly Kerr, the third name on the right hand side, but she's Amelia Kerr. She's a champion cricketer, and she was the player who literally took that series away from India, Akhil. Run of scores in that series against India. She scored a double hundred. Yeah, she's got the highest score by a women's cricketer, Akhil. 232, I think, if I remember correctly. Highest score by a women's cricketer when she was a teenager, right?
Wow.
And she can bowl leg spin, very handy leg spinner, very well received googly, picks up loads of wickets. So fast becoming my favorite cricketer. My top three favorites now are Alyssa Healy, Elise Perry, and Amelia Kerr right now.
Okay, Arun has his own list of cricketers like the ICC has. So yeah.
But in all seriousness, there's so much experience in that lineup. If you look at that squad again, Akhil, there's Susie Bates, Sophie Devine, Amy Satterthwaite. The batting looks good, and there's obviously
is also quick, isn't he?
Say again.
Tahuhu, the quick bowler. She's
Tahuhu, yeah. The one player they're missing, Akhil, is Laura Down, who played a couple of useful knocks in that series against India. Now she apparently picked up an injury during that series against India, and she was gutted to miss the series. I mean, I've just been reading stuff, and the entire New Zealand team are feeling for her to miss a World Cup tournament at home after making such impressive performances. Really feel for her.
I can imagine that. Okay,
But
so
like I,
three strong
but
teams
like,
you said.
but like I mentioned, Akhil, New Zealand will take confidence knowing they won their only World Cup at home last time. So they'll be feeling good.
And the other team is also doing so well in ICC tournaments, and they've been on a roll, winning the World Test Championship, reaching finals of the T20 World Cup. So this could be
ODI World
just a
Cup,
continuation.
correct.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
three strong teams. Who's the fourth favorite for you?
It's the women in blue. It's Mithali Raj, Jhulan Goswami and company, Akhil. Again, they've not had a great run.
Hmm.
I mean, you can look at it whichever way, but they've not played a lot of cricket. That's probably one of the reasons.
Yeah.
But this is not a world beating side in all fairness, but they do have experience. They do have certain players who can get the job done. Like I said, experience comes handy in these kind of big world tournaments, global tournaments, and that's where India have got a lot of experience. There's Mithali Raj, there's Jhulan Goswami. If you look at the team again, there's Harmanpreet Kaur, obviously. We've got a couple of really good youngsters coming there, Akhil. There's Smriti Mandhana,
Mithali
obviously.
Verma.
Yeah, Shefali Verma, Yastika Bhatia, Tania Bhatia, Richa Ghosh. She played a couple of good cameos in that ODI series. The bowling is going to be interesting. How will the spinners, Akhil? This is something that not too many teams have. The likes of Poonam Yadav,
Poonam Yadav, yeah.
Rajeshwari Gaikwad. These two bowlers in particular will test the position because the ball comes on so slowly. They are those traditional spinners, Akhil. And that's going to be the challenge. Can opposition batters work them out? They will go at 3 runs and over, 3.2 runs and over, 3.3 runs and over. Those 20 overs are going to be crucial. India are missing Jemima Rodriguez at the top, but there's obviously the young, exciting Shefali Verma and Smriti Mandhana, who's back now after taking a blow to her head. So
Yeah.
India looking fairly good.
Do they have the batting though, Arun? The middle order has depended, the ODI batting in that matter has depended too much on Smriti Mandhana getting starts, and obviously then Mithali Raj having to bat through the innings and score every time. She scores runs in each match, right, Arun? Every match she has a score. So is there too much dependency on these two?
Mithali is a run machine, Akhil. Mithali is an absolute run machine. The criticism against her has been that she takes a lot of strike and she scores slowly. But that's because one of the reasons is because there are wickets falling at the other end. So as captain, she perhaps take the pressure on her own to bat through the innings, like you mentioned. India need to figure this out. India need Harmanpreet Kaur to get to form. She's not been
got 100 in the warm-up, isn't it?
She's not been among the runs in international cricket, but if she can start scoring runs in the middle order, India will be very well served.
Okay, interesting times. We are all going to be following the progress of the Indian team here. There is already excitement building up on social media about the kind of performances that we can expect. So these four are your top picks, Arun.
No. Actually, no. So those top 3 teams, and the 4th favorites will be India and South Africa. Akhil. South Africa have done well recently too. I think they'll be joint favorites alongside India for me.
Okay, can we have a look at the South African squad? I would love to know some of the names there, Arun. I think they've just recently played also in New Zealand, isn't it?
They played the West Indies recently. They beat the West Indies recently. But there's one big name missing here right at the top, Akhil. They're missing their captain, who had a freak accident at home. She actually slipped on a wet surface and took a fracture, and therefore she's missing the World Cup. But Suni Lewis is like I said with Lauren Down, Dane Van Niekerk is missing the World Cup because of a freak injury, and so that's there. But good players here, few good players here. Suni Lewis will captain. There's Lizel Lee and Marizan who will be key to this team. Mignon Dupree is again good to this team. Uh, yes, some good names. And like I said, they've just been playing cricket and they know this. They know each other well. They work like a team. So for me,
Nice.
India and South Africa are a joint fourth favorites, Akhil.
Good one there. Like I've been following them playing cricket regularly, like you mentioned. So that must definitely be helping, just to be able to play together as a team and work in combination. So interesting. Okay, so these are five teams that we see regularly and follow because of the women's cricket that we see on television. The other three, Arun, if you can quickly run us through the names there and the people that we can look out for. Uh, we have like we'd love to see that.
West Indies next. Again, a lot of history with the team, a lot of experience, Akhil. Look at those names: Stephanie Taylor, Anisa Mohammed, uh, Haley Matthews, Deandra Doughton. All these players have played so much cricket, Akhil. Uh, they've got experience there. It's a question of whether they can turn up those performances on the given day. They've got talent, they've got experience, but they've not had a great run of form recently. Uh, but yeah, we'll see how they go in this tournament.
They've cracked the T20 format, isn't it? I still
Oh yeah,
remember them winning the World Cup in
alongside the men.
2017. Yeah, and what a celebration they had. So they've cracked the T20 format. 50 over is something like you mentioned there. They still have a lot of work to do there, but I would love to see a resurgent West Indies team, as always, my favorites. Would love to see them do well in ICC tournaments.
Yeah. Last couple of teams, Akhil, Pakistan. Uh, Again, a lot of familiar names, lot of names we've read about, we've
Yeah,
followed. Bisma
yeah,
Maroof, Nida Dar, Javeria Khan, for instance. Yeah, so we've followed these names, but we've not
yeah.
watched a lot of them play.
Not
Uh,
got to watch them. Yeah.
yeah, so hopefully in this tournament we will get to see them bat and bowl, and hopefully a couple of eye-catching performances.
Okay, superb. Is India Pakistan going to be happening, Arun? Is there
It
a
is.
is there,
It's one of the marquee games, and we're expecting it to be a big one. There will be some traction around it in both countries, I'm sure.
superb. So that's
The
something
last
that's
one,
going to be, yeah.
so Bangladesh, Akhil, playing their first ever World Cup, Akhil. What a historic moment
Historic.
for this team.
Big moment for this team. I mean, they've obviously seen the success that cricket has had in the country. One of the most followed. I mean, it's a country which follows cricket as passionately as any other. Any Indian Pakistan kind of region, kind of fanaticism for cricket we have seen in Bangladesh. So would love to see that support coming through for their team also.
It's a historic moment, like I said, and we wish them well, Akhil. We wish them good luck. Hopefully, like I said, with Pakistan, a couple of eye-catching performances will kind of, it's good for the sport in the country.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've seen Arun speaks. Hopefully, we'll see some of them participate. The timings are a little awry. Arun, New Zealand timings are a little awry here for us in India to keep following all the games. But the India matches are going to be the big ones, and definitely going to be up and watching all the games early, whatever time they are.
A lot of day and night games, Akhil. That's the scheduling's been very smartly done. A lot of day and night games, so it's going to be interesting. It's a crisp tournament, 8 teams, 31 matches only, and you'll know before we know we're going to be in the final.
Right.
These are
These are
India's
India's
fixtures.
fixtures.
Like I said, we start with India. We start with India, Pakistan, and then yeah, just the caravan just rolls on. There's New Zealand, West Indies, England, Australia, Bangladesh, South Africa. I think India will have three easy games at least,
Right.
and then it's how they fare against the big teams. Like I said, the Australias, the Englands, the South Africas. That will decide where they go. India, South Africa, Akhil. Keep a watch on this game.
So we are all excited here at Timeout with SportsAdda to follow the Women's World Cup. Arun is there in New Zealand. He's working on the tournament. So we are going to try and get updates from him about how the tournament is shaping up. what are the kind of things that we can look forward to in between some of the games. So, Arun, last leaving thoughts for before we wrap up the show today.
Really looking forward to this, Akhil. Like I said, the Australian team got me hooked up into women's cricket, and I'm really looking forward to this competition.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us here at Timeout with SportsAdda. We'll be back again soon. So much cricket lined up in March, and we are going to be back and talking and discussing more about it. Thank you so much.